Good morning, CLC.
Morning.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this service. And I want to give a special thank you to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for serving our countries and doing us so proud. Thank you for being there and helping us to be safe and know that you are loved. So thank you for that. And speaking of love, how about we do a little self-love with the inner healing? Everyone, just take a moment to relax your body, relax your mind. Just put everything aside just for this moment and allow yourself to be here now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply speak these words: I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. In visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass, in seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release.
I release.
Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast, and sharing confidence and gratitude and saying, I'm grateful for the good in your life.
Last week on Facebook, somebody said, who is the harp player? Mary Radspinner. You can make that do just about anything, can't you? It'll walk the dog. Does it have a Bösendorfer in it? No. No Bösendorfer. You don't know what that is?
Yes, I do. And I want one.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's the top of the... Is this an endorsement?
I'll cut it out.
Huh? You'll cut it out?
I'll cut it out.
I thought you were telling me cut it out. Because you do that too. Whatever it is, just cut it out. It's the top of the line piano. The Bösendorfer Imperial costs what? $250,000, something like that. Concert grand piano. I mean, it is massive. And one day, we're going to have a Bösendorfer in this place. Or we're going to have something like that that mimics it, which is, that would be sad. Anyway, this is my Thanksgiving talk. I will not be here next Sunday. Reverend Arthur will be speaking to you. He will be your Thanksgiving gravy. I am your Thanksgiving turkey. So this is about thank. Do you feel well thanked this morning? You were just thanked many, many, many times in succession in that song. And I want to talk about giving. Aren't you glad you're here for a Sunday on giving? Well, that's a good way to clear a room, you know, when a minister says, let's talk about giving. But the holiday is not called thanks. It's called Thanksgiving. And one of our legendary religious science teachers, who I'll mention a couple of times in this talk today, I have not mentioned him in a while. You may not be familiar with him. He's no longer on the planet. Dr. Kennedy Schultz. Dr. Kennedy Schultz, a genius of a teacher. He says, when you give, you reenact the divine nature. Whenever you give, you reenact the divine nature, because the divine nature is constantly pouring itself out into creating days like this, into creating spaces like this, into creating people like us, into creating all of this that we see. And not just what we see, not just everything in form, but everything in potential as well. Everything that exists in the imagination. That's the divine nature pouring itself out. And what the divine nature wants, and I got into this a little bit with you last week, what the divine nature wants is one thing, and that is to express. How it's expressed, it has no real attachment to. It just wants to be expressed. And you and I discover at the level of personal living that loving expression, kindly expression, honest and generous expression works better. It's how you build a society. It's how you sustain a civilization, is that people trust one another and approach one another with respect and so on. And that is what we learn as humans to get along. Yet back of it all, the divine nature isn't tweaking here and messing over there to try to have everybody get along and have everybody work it out. It just says, go express. Go express. And when you express, shall we say, poorly in personal living, there's an immediate reaction from life that tends to correct us. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 12 of these reactions from life to correct us. But eventually we learn, oh, gosh, when I hurt people's feelings, I lose friends. Okay? Wow, what an awareness. Let's try it again. Let's hurt some more feelings, lose some more friends. Pretty soon, what you're realizing is the existence of a law, a principle that says it's done unto you as you believe, and it's done unto you as you express from those beliefs. And so we learn. Well, if I don't trust people, I can wait for the right trustworthy people to show up in my life, replacing the people I've currently got. And so I jettison the people I've currently got to bring in another group of people that may be trustworthy or may be likable or what have you. Eventually I realize the one common denominator in this experience is me. I don't trust me. So I project that onto the people that I have in my life, that I have in my world. It's not about them, it's about me. That's a great learning to have. And sometimes we get it on the first shot, more usually the second or the 12th or the 327th time that we do this. We realize this doesn't work. So we are the reenacting of the divine nature in the world. We are the experience, as I often say, that Spirit is having of itself in this world at this time by means of us. We are the experience that it's having. I am, and you are, and the people driving by on the street are, and the birds flying overhead are, and all of it is. But I'm not responsible for you or the people driving by or the birds flying overhead. I mean, I have a certain connection, but I can't control it all. And sometimes I try to distract myself from my process by trying to control it all. Have you ever done that? Let's make it about those people over there, and if only they were different, if only they were better people, or if only I could help them, then everything would be fine. But no, the process starts and ends really in the self. This is what I have to work with. A lot of times in spiritual life, in spiritual teachings, there's a lot about waiting. We wait. We wait for redemption. We wait for the second coming. We wait for something to happen where everything's going to be different. In this spiritual teaching, the emphasis is on acting. The emphasis is on knowing and believing and then doing from that action. In reenacting the divine nature, it means you do something. You take some kind of action. And today's about giving. And you might be thinking, well, when's the talk on receiving? I want the talk on receiving because I've been giving my whole life. Have you? Yeah, you probably have. Have you? You've been giving with the right intention. Let's look at that. You see, the reason to give is you can't receive with full hands. You release what you have in order to take in more. I don't mean just products and supply. We'll get to that too, but you release your image, your mental equivalent of the present reality in order to take in the new reality. This is the sacrifice that has to be made. In Scripture and elsewhere, they dress this up and make it sound really lofty and powerful when they say, you must die and be born again. And everybody goes, ouch. That sounds hard. I don't want to do that today. But dying and being born again is, again, a metaphor. It's an attention-getting metaphor, isn't it? About releasing, about giving, about entrusting the universe with who you are, so that you might receive back something else, so that you might receive back the fullness of your spiritual nature. So Kennedy Schultz, I never met this man, and I wish I did. We traveled in different circles in religious science. He was in Atlanta. I was here. He was part of a different organization in religious science when we had several different organizations. And And yet I heard everywhere about him. I met a number of his students. I read his books. I listened to his tapes. This guy was just a genius, and I should have looked him up. But anyway, he brings up an interesting point about giving and receiving and reenacting the divine nature. He said, people will say, you know, I think today or this season, I'm going to work on my spiritual side. I'm going to work on my spiritual side. And when he heard that, he went off. You can hear him in his talks. He goes off. He like rends his garment, you know, sometimes at what people say or what people think. The spiritual side of your nature, you don't have a spiritual side to your nature. You have a spiritual nature. You have a spiritual nature that engages itself sometimes in the things of this world, but it is fundamentally a spiritual nature. So when you're working on your body, when you're working on your relationships, when you're working on your career goals, when you're working on your money, you're working on your spiritual nature. It's all your spiritual nature. And to segment it out and say, well, I have this, you know, spiritual side and then all this other stuff, puts you back in this place of separation from your source. It's exactly the thing you're trying to heal. His teacher, Ernest Holmes, said, when asked, what is it we're really trying to heal here? He had two different answers, you know. One was, well, we're trying to heal the belief that there's anything that needs healing. And that's kind of circular logic. But the other answer that might be more useful is we're trying to heal our sense of separation from our source. Because that's the only darkness. That's the only downward spiral that we have in our lives, is a sense of separation from our source. And metaphysics generally teaches us that in order to inhabit a new mental equivalent, a new viewpoint on life, sometimes you act as though, you act as if. In some circles, this is called, I got to admit it, fake it till you make it. But you act as if before the full body of the consciousness can sweep over you. So you act as though, think as though, and even feel as though you live in a trusting, supplying universe before there is substantial evidence for such. You start to feel that way. And in this way, you take up your divine inheritance. In this way, you act as a co-creator with spirit. In this way, you say to the mountain, remove and be thou cast into the sea, and guess what happens? You start acting as though before you have a reason to do so, which is what Thanksgiving is about. We gather together and we celebrate our blessings, and we look back and we look at the year to come and the years to come, and we think about what we'd like to create in our lives, and we're grateful for it before it's here. We're grateful for it before it shows up. There is no greater prayer. David Dewhurst, who I think is over in the bookstore now. Oh, no, there he is in the back. He quotes, who is it, Meister Eckhart you quote? Yeah. Pulls mask. Yeah. Meister Eckhart, who said, if I could have but one prayer in this life, let it be thank you. But one prayer in this life, let it be thank you. And Meister Eckhart saying that, Meister Eckhart's friends and family probably came to him and said, Meister. Except they didn't call him that. I think it was Johannes, I think was his name. Meister. They said, Meister, why are you saying this? Why are you saying thank you? You know, you're poor man. You're a simple individual. You're also not wildly popular with the powers that be for some of the things that you say. What have you got to be grateful for? Have you ever had anybody say that to you? I just feel really good. Have you ever had anybody burst your balloon? You know, I feel really good today. Somebody says, why? What do you know that I don't? Proactive gratitude paves the way in front of us. Proactive gratitude, being grateful. Thank you. Thank you for this life. Because it's out of this life that I'm going to make my next experience. I'm going to build from what I have. I'm going to use the materials at hand. I'm going to wear the body I'm wearing. I'm going to have all or at least vastly most of the same people in my life tomorrow as I do today, as we walk forward into our good. I'm going to have the same body of memories, the same personal history. Nothing is going to change but one thing, which is thank you. I am now willing to live in a world that works. I'm now willing to have deep peace in my heart. So this message is about proactivity, but metaphysics overall, this is not coming at you out of the blue. You know, metaphysics overall is about proactivity. It's about feel as though before it happens, feel as though you actually are in the reality you wish to inhabit before that reality shows up. So when we're talking about things like giving, in order to receive, this is not some sleight of hand. It's deep metaphysical principle. Give from what you have. What do you give? Give respect. Give attention. Give a listening ear. Give encouragement. Can I have boundaries? People will ask. Do I have to give all of this to everybody? Of course you have boundaries. You know, you don't give to the point of depletion. You don't give to the point of exhaustion. But you give when asked, and especially you give when you give consent to have the conversation. You want to talk to me? Okay, here I am. Now you have my full attention. Also, you can give attention when it's not asked for. You can give attention to situations and things. You can give attention to nature. This is a big deal. You read a lot of this self-help literature that's coming out today, a lot of the blogs and schnogs and whatnot that people are coming out, and it's like, go see nature. You got a problem, go see nature. You feel neurotic, go see nature. You've been cooped up in the house, go see nature. And it's like, what are they, you know, do they have some kind of kickback from nature for this to send people out to the city park or whatever? No. It's because nature heals. You know who knew that? Your ancestors and their ancestors. They weren't just like farming the dirt, you know, and it wasn't just all about labor. It was about the moon. You know the moon? Next week, Friday? Carry the 7. Friday. Friday, I think it is. You got to check this out, and I'm sure they are. So look at the tech team here. There'll be full moon.
3 a.m. Friday.
3 a.m. Friday, yeah. Full moon with a full lunar eclipse. The longest lasting lunar eclipse of the entire 21st century.
Oh, wow.
And you're here to see it. By longest, I mean like an hour and a half or something like that, or 2 hours.
6 hours from midnight to 6 a.m.
6 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. See, somebody did their homework. 6 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. as the shadow makes transit across the moon. You know? Now, you might write that down. You might stay up for it. You might not stay up for it. It might mean nothing to you. I'll tell you what, your ancestors saw something like that, they'd lose their minds. They'd lose their minds. They'd create a whole religion around it. That's how connected they were. And we say, oh, silly, superstitious. No, they felt like they had agency. See, they felt connected to the creative power of the universe. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Would you like that too? Step outside and have a look up. So we give attention, we give encouragement, we give empowerment, we give money. Money. Kennedy Schultz was very frank about this with his congregation talking about money. He says, give money. You want to come back next Sunday and see this place still here? Give money. Give money. Money's what it takes. He says, and not just here. And not just here. He says, you have a favorite charity? Do you have something you really believe in and somebody's working on that? You think, gosh, I'd like to be involved with that, but I just can't. He says, sure you can. Open your wallet. Give money. Give some money to it. And support the thing happening. And I was thinking about this, and I wanted to mention also, because it went by unnoticed in a very quiet way, is that 2.5 weeks ago, we had our 36th anniversary of Creative Life Spiritual Center. When we had our 35th anniversary last year, we had a great big deal, but you weren't here. But you maybe watched it, and it was great, and we had the red lights were too hot, and it was this, and so it looked like Sympathy for the Devil or something. I don't know. Do you remember? It was kind of, there was like dry ice smoke and stuff, and I stepped out of that and gave a talk, and probably alarmed a lot of viewers, but it's just how it shook out. Mel T did a wonderful backdrop with the, this, and we had a whole little band up here and performed for our, well, I was so thinking back over the years, why I got into ministry, real simple reason, I wanted to teach what I'd learned. I came in and they said some stuff, my teacher, Ben Winter, said some stuff that would put words to the music. The music I felt in here, in my microphone, I felt in here about the connection of all of us and the, I guess you might say, the primacy of unseen reality, the primacy of the invisible, the intangible, making itself known into form. And my teacher introduced me to his thoughts and Ernest Holmes' thoughts and a bunch of other people's thoughts that put structure to what I had been feeling as a 20-year-old. This is how old I was when I found this teaching. And it clicked into place. And before very long, I realized if I could do anything at all, I want to teach this. Okay? And I bring that up because for 36 years, you've let me teach this. You gave me a space, built this place. There was nothing here. There was a shell. This was a warehouse, and it was a nasty warehouse. But the one cool thing in it was right here where I'm standing, up on blocks, was a 1966 Ford Mustang. It went with the previous owner. But the rest of this built out, those gardens, the buildings, the property that ultimately we purchased, all of this was made possible by your generous contributions. Why? Not in tribute to me. If you want to make it in tribute to me, just bring gold up here to the stage. Like, who was it? Solomon or someone where my weight in gold, and I'm putting on weight. So it's not about me. It's not about any of our ministers or practitioners or teachers. It's about our teaching and our ministry. It's about what we do here. And you're here today and you're watching today because you like how this teaching makes you feel. You like how this, you may not understand all of it. I don't understand all of it. The rule I've tried to follow, which was shared with me by elders in ministry, was never get up and say anything you don't believe. And so I don't. And if I'm not sure what I believe about something, I go and think about it and pray about it until I have some clarity on it before I bring it to you and say, well, now let's do this, or here's how it is. And very seldom, actually, do I say, here's how it is, because no sooner do I say, here's how it is, than it's changed. Because that's the nature of life, is about change, and managing change is a large part of what we're doing here, and you begin to see how it all fits together. But the gist of the thing is, you created this place because you like how it makes you feel. You created other places because you like how they make you feel. People built football stadiums and go sit in them to watch games because they like how it makes them feel, It's all creation, and it's all spirit, and it's all spirituality. And to quote Schultz, maybe one last time this morning, he says, give. Give to what you believe in giving. Give money, give time, give energy. You could bring our weight in gold to the food event next Saturday, and it would feed no one. You can't eat gold. You can't eat money. You don't even need to bring food. The food bank has that handled. They'll bring a whole big panel truck full of food and offload it, and we'll give it away. You might say, well, I have a bad back. Okay, well, bring your bad back, and we won't make it badder. Well, you can stand there with a clipboard and check people in. You can just basically sit. We've had people do this. You can sit in a lawn chair and cheer us on. Go, load those cars, load those cars, load those, right? You do a whole little thing. That'd be awesome. Give of your energy. Give of your time. Give of your time. Just one example of this, I bring this up from time to time, every day for 19 months now. Every day, every morning, like clockwork, Reverend Lisa Ryan, like the rooster, Reverend Lisa Ryan. Every evening, Reverend David Dewhurst, sitting there. They don't want to one day. They don't feel good one day. You know, they're tired one day. There's a million reasons not to. And they're there on Facebook Live doing these readings for your benefit. For your benefit. They're giving you their time. They're doing that because they want to teach what they've learned. They want to share the feelings that they got here. And I promise you that they are opening the windows of heaven in their own lives, that such a blessing might be poured out. This is scripture, Malachi, I think, that such a blessing might be poured out that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Would you like to have that kind of experience in your life, that the windows of heaven are opened up and such a blessing is poured out that there is not room enough to receive it? Give of yourself. Give of yourself. Give of yourself. And in so doing, you reenact the divine nature. Kennedy Schultz, Kennedy Schultz said, he says, give not because it's the right thing to do. Give not because whoever you're giving to needs it. Give not because you're asked to or because people will approve of it or applaud you. Give in order to pave the road to your own success. Because as you give, it is given to you. It is given to you. And so, in the sustenance of this ministry, the maintenance of this beautiful campus that we have that is underpopulated right now. We don't have classes and stuff going on all over because of the COVID. Boomers call it the COVID. You put the in front of it, you know. And we don't have the children's activities back up yet and stuff, but we're rested and ready. We're rested and ready here in this beautiful place. So to keep all of this going, remember, remember, remember. And as you go out into life, as you go out into your holiday, give love. Give love to the headlines. Give love to the troubled. Give love to the angry. A lot of angry people out there right now. Our reaction is to bow up. When people get angry, we bow up. It's like, you're not messing with me. You know, that's not the spiritual approach. That's not the approach that heals or works or ever has in the history of the human species. It has never worked. All it leaves is a smoking crater. That kind of thinking, okay? So what you want to do is, in your mind and heart, say there's a beautiful, precious child at the heart of this angry person, whether they're in my face, or they're on my phone, or they're in my news feed. There's a wounded individual here, and I'm going to pour them out such a blessing from my heart. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for expressing your pain, even if articulated uncomfortably. Thank you for being exactly who you are. And you take your power back. You take your power back, and you no longer feel moved around. And then you get to be creative and do all kinds of amazing things because you don't have this weight hanging over you of, well, waiting. This weight for the new world that's supposed to show up and take all of this out of the picture and make it all better. So I wish you a delightful, a majestic, a fantastic Thanksgiving. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. But first, I'll see you next Saturday, I hope, at the food event. And if you don't know Reverend Arthur Johnson, you're going to love this. I am excited for you. I cannot be here next Sunday. I think it's the first Sunday he'll have spoken that I've missed. Perhaps it isn't, but I can't be here, but I will watch it as soon as I possibly can because he is just a fantastic spiritual teacher, and you're going to eat it up. So let's know together now. One life, one power, one presence. We'll make this short. We'll make this sweet. We'll get right to the point. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, as the song says, for letting me be myself again. Thank you. And I let these thanks just cascade over creation, including my own past, my own memories, my own journey, my own guilt, my own shame, my own unhealed stuff, whatever that may be. I let thanks surround this as well. All the dark corners of my mental mental space, my emotional, called many mansions within the self. And I let this thanks surround the human family and all life everywhere. In so doing, I am reintroduced to my spiritual nature, to the difference that it makes, to the future that I create for myself in partnership, collaboration with the one power that made everything. For this knowing and its manifestation in form everywhere I turn, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now, calling it done, and so it is.
So it is.
Stage. Let's dance. Would you like to dance? We can dance. Except our microphones.
Oh, yeah, they'll start.
Ernest Holmes says the very air crackles with power. So there you are.
I just wanted to say one quick thing. I have to say this to the camera, and I have to say this to all of you as I listen to Mary play. This is not just some random world-class symphonic quality harpist. She is an over 20-year member of this center. And thank you. Thank you for your service to us now and over the years. Yeah.
And now, with all of that thanks, we come to giving time. As our ushers work their way to the back, I want to thank Reverend Jesse for sharing his knowledge on this wonderful, glorious teaching. And I want to thank each and every one of you who are here to hear this and be a part of this, including everyone on Facebook. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. And I know we love being here. So thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for everything that you give to this center. Not only your time, your energy, but your money. Thank you for your money. We appreciate that. That helps us greatly to do what we do. So thank you for your support. And with that, I invite you to say with me now, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. Are there any members, or new people, I shouldn't say members, new people that are here for the first time today? Please raise your hand if you're here for the first time today. Oh, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. David's going to bring you a little gift now. And if you are for the first time on Facebook, please let us know that as well. You can put a message in chat. You can send us Facebook Messenger or email info@creativelife.org just to say hi so we can reach out to you as well. So thank you.
And since this mic is conveniently here and I don't have to touch it, I'm going to use it. So I do the daily readings, and I do them as much for myself as I do them for you. And I don't remember which book because I'm on my second book, because I'm doing Ernest Holm 365 books. But in one of them, I got a phrase that I have kept. So I'm gonna gift it to you now if I haven't already told you. And I say it every day to myself. Open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you you live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you. All you have to do is look for it. And then Emma pops into my head, Emma Curtis Hopkins, pops into my head and says, and I got this from Sharon actually, look for the good and praise it. You want to find heaven, that's how you do it. Look for the good and praise it. And sometimes, oftentimes, you are the good. You are the good. You are the answer to someone's prayer, even if you never know that. So, know that. Know that. But it is a beautiful day out there. It has been a beautiful weekend, and I'm going to send you out into it. And I'm going to send you out into it remembering heaven is a place on earth because you're in it. So there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. I'm a part of that love. That life is my life. That presence is in me, just as I know that is in each and every one of you. We are made of that love, by that love, for that love. So I am knowing as we walk through this week that love surrounds us, that love fills us, that love flows through us, that love flows out of everything we touch. And it spreads in these ever-widening ripples, bringing peace, bringing healing, bringing calm, bringing love, bringing heaven on earth. And I know this because I am this. And I know this about each and every one of you because I know that you are a beloved child of God, that you carry that divine spark within you. I see it. And I am grateful for this place. I am grateful for this teaching. I am grateful for these people. I am grateful for our ministers. I'm grateful for our musicians. I'm grateful for our tech team. I am grateful for the people that smile at you each and every day. And I'm grateful to know. I am grateful to be. And I release this into the infinite, knowing that it is done. And so it is.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my
I
body.
feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my
I
mind.
feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I trust it.
I trust it.
And I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
And so it is.